How did I go from an A1 level, so school education based on academic English, what you learn at school in Italy, to becoming a C1 English active user of the language, and then actually teaching the language to foreign speakers. Today I'm going to share my journey. The shortest answer possible is, if you think there is a magic formula, there is some secret, if you think that you read a book and you immediately learn the language, doesn't work like that. A lot of my students ask me, Paulina, you're not an English native speaker, but how did you learn the language? And the short answer, and you can end the video here if you don't want to know about the details. I started when I was 6 and I've been studying constantly and I keep doing it now. That's a boring answer because we're used to the idea that everything happens within weeks, months. There's this magic formula. You download an app, you do 5 minutes of practice once, twice a week, and you, boom, know the language. I'm going to divide this video in chapters so I can describe each aspect of the journey thoroughly, and I don't like to sugarcoat things. I've also mentioned this in one of my past videos. You never stop learning. But now, let's take a step back and let's have a look at the beginnings. My family's context is I was raised as a bilingual person. I would speak Polish with my family, with my parents, and then in Italy I would learn Italian for obvious reasons. And then I started to go to school. At the elementary school, you immediately start learning English here in Italy. From what I recall, I liked the language. I was always okay with it. I never struggled. You're assigned exercises, you complete them. You're assigned another exercise and you complete it. You must read an article and answer the questions, you do that. There wasn't much thinking about what I was doing. It was very fake. The school period is what I call my external motivation era. In that phase of my life, my goal was to basically be a good student. I was a diligent student. I would study, get good marks, and be happy with it. That's what I was supposed to do. Nothing more to it. I studied English because it was part of the curriculum. That's it. I did not think about, wow, I'm going to travel the world, I'm gonna teach it, I'm gonna be proficient, it's going to help me. I had no clue about it. Also because I was surrounded by Italian and Polish. No English at all. So for me, English was very abstract. But I was a good student. I did loads of grammar. Plenty of grammar. If you study in Italy, you do so much grammar, it hurts. And this is not just about English, but also all the other languages I studied at school. I studied French, I studied Italian, obviously. These 3 languages, grammar, up to a point in which it gives you a headache, to be honest. That's so embedded in Italian culture, in the Italian educational system. You must know the grammar. If you do not know the grammar, you're stupid. That's it. End of the story. The moment in which this external motivation became internal, and that's when things started to change, was when I went to the airport. I was 13, 14-ish, and basically I remember being the only person from my family who could understand any English. My family doesn't speak English at all. 0. So I was the only person who could potentially understand an English speaker. And in that situation, there was a flight attendant who was telling us something extremely important about our flight. And there I was standing, eyes wide open, and I just could not understand what that person was saying to me. And I felt humiliation. I felt so ashamed because I said, what's the point of having good grades at school? I had 8s, 9s, and 10s. I became so curious about this insane lack of ability from one part and my recognition at school. I said, why do I have good grades if in real life this serves me nothing? I get nothing of it. I could not speak. I took loads of repetitions, slowing down, trying to ask somebody else. And then eventually I understood that there was a delay in the flight. That was my epiphany with languages. In that moment, I understood, wow, I'm studying English, I know nothing about it actually. And then I had the switch of internal motivation. So the external motivation is when you do something because it's required for work, it's for academic purposes, you get paid for it, for example. So you get something from an external source and you say, okay, I can continue because I have this sort of benefit. An internal motivation is sparked within you. It starts from you, it's from your core, and it could be passion, it could be your personal goals and things you desire for yourself, a cause that is dear to you, something that you feel strongly within you. And in that moment I had the switch and I continued learning the language at school, but my motivation had changed a lot. From that moment on, I was surrounded by external motivation, but I also had my internal motivation. That period, my sources of English learning were course books. A thing I'd love to mention is also that in Italy, when you go to high school, the last 2 or 3 years, it depends, you could study literature, English literature, and that's something I had done. So I studied Shakespeare sonnets, I studied Oscar Wilde, the war poets, Coleridge, Romanticism, the Romantics. And let me tell you, that sparked such an interest in literature, but in another language that was new for me. When I had finished high school, I can say I was a B2, a solid B2. For the Italian system, I was very good, and grammar, I knew it, I was very confident. But when it comes to speaking, the only way I could practice the language, at school I didn't practice much. I would have, of course, conversations with the teachers about literature or about articles, but it wasn't like, what did you do yesterday? How was your day? What are your dreams? What are your goals? So I decided to do that on YouTube as a teenager. I was filming YouTube videos, and that helped me a lot because when I was editing the videos, I said, what did I say? This is a mistake. This is not correct. And sometimes I didn't even notice it because it's difficult to notice your own mistakes if you're not extremely proficient in a language. I have filmed a video in which I check my own mistakes some years later, and that YouTube practice helped me with my pronunciation. A lot of times I was just repeating things I had heard from some videos. I tried to mimic the English pronunciation. I tried to sound good. I wanted to sound good in English. That was something I really wanted to. I didn't like the macaronic type of pronunciation that some of my peers had. So then I took my diploma, and then I had to decide what university I would love to go to. Had no clue. I remember visiting a university which was closed. I was living in Poland back then. I remember looking at the different faculties and reading English philology. I remember looking at the curriculum. You can see the subjects, for example, for the first semester. And I remember reading, for instance, British culture, American culture, British literature, practical skills, integrated skills actually, reading, writing, conversation classes. I remember feeling stunned. This is mine. This is what I want to do. I really want to do it. I wasn't thinking about studying for a future job. I was thinking I want to study it because I'm genuinely curious about it. I didn't care about the job back then. I was so naive because I remember not caring about professions and the work world. And this is also other people's fault because everybody was saying, if you know English, you can have any job. Not true. And then you might ask, but what is English philology? English philology is basically the study of language. Throughout history, you consider historical aspects, cultural aspects of the language. You have a look at the past, you have a look at the present, you analyze the language, and at the same time, I was constantly studying grammar, idioms, vocabulary, phonetics, phonology, conversation, everything that concerned the language. I was studying that. It was all so difficult, so overwhelming, so new, and I thought I would never be able to achieve anything. I said, this was such a mistake. And then I understood that this was actually imposter syndrome, because the first semester, all the exams went beautifully. I had this full immersion of English content, and it was any kind of topic. Plus, I continued on my own. I was basically interested. English wasn't difficult. The difficult stuff was the content I was studying in English, but the speaking lessons and learning something difficult in English, for me it became natural. And whenever I need to do any kind of research, I do it in English now. And yeah, Italian or English makes no difference to me at this point. Yeah, I graduated, I wrote my thesis in English, I had my discussion in English, my thesis discussion in English. And then from graduation on, I basically continue studying on my own. I read articles, I flick through books. So much of what I do now is basically in English that it's natural to me. Plus, I record here, I have the lessons in English. Everything I do is a combination of English, Italian, and Polish interchangeably. It's very hard to dissect what you exactly have been doing your entire life. People always imagine there's this secret, or you start this routine and it applies to you in the exact same way, like one-to-one. Then there's a lot of work to do on your own. And finding content you like, reading articles you like, doing something you like, it helps so much. I've always had this big passion for languages, and that was innate. I can't teach that to a person, and it's all about life situations, in my opinion. My dream was to become a maths teacher when I was a teenager. I didn't want to study languages. I wanted to study maths. I wanted to maybe study engineering. That's how it went. So let me know what you think about this. I'd be delighted to read your comments below. How did you study English? Let me know. I'm very, very curious. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll leave you my most recent videos up here. You can watch them. Thank you. I'll see you soon. And good luck with your English language learning.